All right, so welcome everyone. My name is Miss Garcia. I'm going to be your English 2 teacher. Some of you may know me because I helped out with Mr. Johnson's class a lot last year in English 1. And because some of you just know me just because. So when we start off every day, I'm going to go over the daily objective, but it is going to be on here in Schoology and also on the board because just in case my bosses walk in, I need to look good. So I will read it to you guys every day because I'm required to. So today what we're going to do is we're going to refresh prior knowledge of Schoology's key features. Basically, I'm just going to show you that I made a quick guide for you just in case, because most of you should know how to use Schoology. Yes? Yeah, because there's pretty much everybody unless you weren't in this district. You're going to gain an understanding of the expectations of the English 2 course. Basically, I'm just going to tell you my syllabus. It's really short. It's not too much. And then you're going to generate questions of inquiry about me. So this will be your assignments. We're going to do a quick refresher of Schoology. We're going to review my syllabus, and then you're going to do an Ask Miss Garcia. If you ever see things in red, that means it's an assignment. That means it's for a grade. Okay, so today you're going to have an easy 100. Super easy. You'll see how easy it is. Okay. Any questions so far? No? Okay. Before I begin, everything we do is going to be in Schoology. I do this for a couple of reasons. One, because it makes it easier for me to organize. When you turn everything in Schoology, you can't be like, well, Mom, Miss Garcia lost it, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have lost it. So by putting it all in Schoology, it's right there. Also, that allows me to change your due date. Every assignment in this class, even the projects, everything, unless otherwise specified, are not due until Friday at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so even if I assign it on Monday, you have until 11:59 p.m. on Friday night. If you don't have tech, I have tech for you to use it, okay? If Schoology is messing up, I do extend it. And that also gives me, there are some days where I will give you until Sunday. Like if it's a really big project, I will say you guys have until Sunday because that's just fair, okay? Any questions on that? So I have surveyed my kids from the last year, and my Schoology, they said, is the easiest one to get through because the way I set it up, you should be able to find everything in there. When you go to the main page, the first thing you're going to see is my tutoring hours. I do have morning tutorings Tuesday through Thursday from 8:15 to 8:45. For those of you that actually get here earlier, just let me know if you want to tutor with me or you need to come work in here. I'll work it out so I can let you in, okay? I'm going to be doing tutoring sessions on Power Hour B. Don't ask me about Power Hour right now because I'm still highly confused on it. But I do believe it's the second portion. And so you can bring your food in here. Because I do not have a problem with you guys eating or drinking in here. I just ask that you pick up after yourself. But I know it's right after lunch and sometimes there's long lines. You can bring your lunch. You can do those types of things, okay? And sometimes I have snacks for you guys too. My afternoon tutoring right now is only on Wednesday from 4:15 to 5 p.m. But for any reason, if these tutoring hours do not fit your needs, you need to let me know. I will arrange something with you. I'm very flexible and I can even Zoom with you. All right. I am a jack of all trades. I'm a major nerd if you can't tell, not just because I watch anime and Marvel, but because I know English, science, math, and history. Okay. I am like a full-blown nerd. I have a degree in English, a minor in philosophy, but I used to be an aerospace and mechanical engineering student. So I can help you guys with that. I'm also one of the ESL representatives. So we do have to be jacks of all trade and be able to help our students, okay? So those are my tutoring hours. That's gonna be the first thing you see. And then normally when you scroll down, I do have important class information, which is about what we're gonna go over in a minute. And then you'll see the unit. So right now we're gonna be starting unit 1, which is foundational. I'll tell you what's in it. And every time you see a folder, you'll see what's in it. So it'll make it easier for you. So like in this folder right here, you're gonna have your late submission form link, my syllabus, important information, and then the district calendar link. Okay. So this is the late submission form link. Okay. So let's go over that. What you'll do is whenever you have late work, in order to receive a grade, you'll have to complete that Google form, just so that I know that you've submitted it and we have like proof, okay? Because sometimes it's not even me that's questioning it, it can be somebody else that's questioning it. So The only time I don't accept late submissions is for skills building assignments, which are going to be 5-minute little assignments you'll have in the next couple of weeks. And any like CUA, math test, those type of district things. But other than that, I do accept late work, okay, up to 2 weeks without having to ask me. Now, I do know that sometimes life happens and things get crazy. You guys have a lot of scheduled things going on. So let's say you have an assignment you want to redo for me or turn in late and it's past the 2 weeks, just ask me. I rarely ever say no, but that way you'll get the permission from me and you'll submit the form. When it comes to late work, I do not dock points unless it's crazy late, okay? Because if you give me A work or B work, I'm gonna give you an A or B, right? It makes no sense for you to put in all that effort, even if it's late, and give me A work for me to give you a 70. I don't see that as fair. That's just my standard, okay? So if you give me something that's late and it's amazing, I'm gonna give you the grade it deserves. Does that sound fair? Okay. Also, something that I do that most teachers do not do. Everybody gets redos. I don't care what grade it is, unless it's 100, you can't get more than 100. Everybody gets redos. Every assignment, everything in Schoology, you'll have 2 attempts unless I tell you otherwise. That's gonna be like CUAs and tests like and stuff. But any assignment you have, like let's say you get an 85 on a paper. Normally on that paper, I will say, fix this, this, and this, and resubmit it, and you'll get 100. Okay, so you can have a 95 and you can redo it for 100. I take highest grade. I don't average them. I don't do any of that. You get the highest grade you get. And that should be pretty easy because when it comes to Schoology stuff, normally I'll tell you which ones you got right and wrong. So if you get a 50 and then you get a 50 the second time, I'm sorry, you should have figured that out. Okay, because I'll tell you what you got wrong and you need to study and figure it out. Sound fair? It is harder to fail my class than it is to pass it. I give you a lot of opportunities because my tenets, my mottos, my things I go by are respect, effort, and communication. You respect me, I respect you. Right now, all of you have my utmost respect. It takes a lot for me to lose respect for you. Like you literally like have to set me on fire or something. And then I would be like, well, why did you set me on fire? Right? Is there a good reason? Maybe were you having a bad day? But I also ask that you respect me back. But more importantly, I ask that you respect each other, okay? In English class, we're gonna be going over a lot of topics that might be controversial or we might have really strong opinions about it. And I'm not looking for any drag out, knockdown fights. You have to respect each other. You can have different opinions and still respect people, okay? The only thing I warn you is in my classroom, even when it comes to me, if you're gonna make a statement, if you're gonna stand behind something, you better stand behind it and have that support because other people are going to be ready to come at you, okay? And it might be me. I'm a major nerd and I watch everything and I know a whole lot. And so even sometimes I'll just play devil's advocate. But the one thing I will never do in this class is tell you how to think. That's not my job. My job is to teach you how to think for yourself and how to make those arguments and be able to communicate those arguments, okay? So even if I flat out do not agree with you, as long as you come out at me with support, I'm gonna be like, okay, but be ready, all right? Just so you know, I am one of the I'm actually the debate coach and academic UIL. So again, nerd, I know a lot, be able to back it up. Okay, but we're gonna talk about a lot of different things in this class. The second one is effort. I'm huge on effort. I get that there's some things you're gonna be really great at and some things that may take a little bit more work. If I see that you're at least trying, I'm gonna work with you, right? I will never fail anybody who I believe has tried. Does that make sense? Because to me, if you are trying your absolute best, then why would I fail you, right? Because in reality, you're putting in more work than the normal person. So effort goes a long way. Don't come at me at the end of 9 weeks and be like, Ms. Garcia, I really tried and please help me, and you've slept my entire class, right? Unless there's a good reason for you to be sleeping, like you worked all night long, then there's no reason for me to help you, right? You haven't shown me any effort. But I'm also about redemption. So let's say you're like, Miss, I promise I'll be better, let me show you. I'm more than willing to help you. And that comes with communication. If there's any anything going on, you need to let me know. I can't read minds, right? And I can't sit there and try to decipher it. I have 3 classes of over 30 students. I have over 200 active ESL, and then I have 2 boys and a really big Mexican family. If I try to decipher everybody's minds, it would take me centuries. So just come and talk to me. Okay, I'm a pretty understanding person. I'll never judge you, right? We all make mistakes, whatever. So if you're struggling, come tell me so I can help you. If you're good, tell me, right? So I can celebrate that. I can be like, all right, because there will be times after a while I get to know you and you have those faces and I'm like, you good? If you're good, you're good. All right. But I can't help you if you don't tell me. Also, when we communicate in here, it needs to be respectful at all times. Okay. No disrespecting people and no disrespecting me. But communication is huge. And I often play soundboard to a lot of people. I will never share anything you tell me unless you say I can, or there's only 2 other reasons I'll tell anybody. You're going to hurt somebody else or you're going to hurt yourself. And when it comes to hurting somebody else, please, no fights in my class. I don't play that at all. And please no fights outside my classroom because that's going to make me run. And Miss Garcia does not run unless I'm being chased. And I just don't look good on the cameras running. So let's not make me do that, okay? Because there are cameras at the end of the hallway. And unfortunately, I've seen myself run and it's not pretty. All right, any questions about any of that? Technology, tech is huge in this class. So I actually want you to have your phones. If you have laptops, bring your laptops. If you don't, I have laptops and iPads that you can use. The only thing with cell phones is while I'm talking, and I promise not to talk bell to bell, is just pay attention to me. I paid a lot of money to UT to get a degree so I could stand up here. Just give me the floor for a little bit. Let me share my passion. Let me share what I know with you. And then when we're done, I don't care if you're on your phone listening to music or whatever, okay? I am also not naive. So I know that parents and grandparents and sisters and brothers sometimes call you or say, call me during class, okay? If it is important, just raise your hand and be like, hey, Ms. Garcia, can I step out and make the call? Now, if you step out there and I hear you like, oh, girl, oh my God, did you hear what so-and-so did? Like, if it's not important, I'm going to get upset. But I even used to call my son at school sometimes when he was in school. So just let me know. Same thing with the bathroom. You guys are 10th graders. I'm not going to monitor. Just say, hey, Ms. Garcia, can I go to the bathroom? The only thing I ask is that only one boy or one girl go at a time so that if my bosses come in, I'm not like, oh, yeah, all 4 girls are in the bathroom, right? Like, that's not going to be good. So just let me know. I've never been one to be like, oh, you've gone to the bathroom every single day now, right? Now, if you ask me to go to the bathroom and you spend all class period in there, that's a different story. So is there any questions about any of that? Okay, so let's get to my pet peeves real quick. Do you know what pet peeves are? Okay, so I'm a very chill, laid back teacher. I will joke with you. I'm very sarcastic. I like to have fun. I don't like to be boring. I don't like to teach boring things, even though we will have to learn grammar. I'm sorry. I don't like grammar either, but we'll have to get through it together. But my biggest pet peeves are these, and these will literally drive me insane. So first and foremost is having students talk when I'm trying to talk, okay? Because there's so many of you, a couple of you talking overpower me very quickly, okay? So try not to talk while I'm talking. There's times I'm going to tell you to talk, but if I'm talking, I try to make it quick so that you guys can do your thing. But again, I paid a lot of money to be up here. And I always tell students, the day you can show me you have a degree or you have higher certification than I do will be the day that you can come up here and talk to. But if you want to take my place and talk, you're going to take all my student debt and everything with you and my low pay, which I don't think you want. Because I don't like playing second act to your phone. So just while I'm talking, try to focus on me. I get that I can be boring sometimes, but just try, okay? Do not stand at the door and wait for the bell to end. Stay in your seats until the bell actually rings. Because last year, for some reason, they started gathering at my door. One, that's a hazard issue, and it doesn't make me look good when my bosses walk by, because Miss Garcia likes to look good when her bosses are around. But it also starts to really like agitate me. So just stay seated until then. It's not going to kill you. And when you do leave, please pick up after yourself. I'm not your maid. Okay? I don't care if you eat in here. Don't care if you drink in here. Throw it in the trash. When you leave, please push in your chairs. There's a lot of chairs in here, and I hate having to go back and push them in after you guys, okay? I don't let my kids do it. I'm not going to let you guys do it, all right? And then I don't like having to call it disrespect. Do not be disrespectful to people on there. Like I said, we're gonna have some pretty intense debates or discussions sometimes. Like our first section is gonna be on social issues and social reform. And that can, hit a nerve sometimes. And we just need to be respectful when we're talking about it. Sound fair? Not too much? Okay. All right. Also, when you're monitoring your grade, check home access, not Schoology. And here's why. Everything's going to be turned in on Schoology, but sometimes I don't use all those grades. If there is an assignment that all of you guys tanked, I may not use it or I may curve it. There's also going to be times where and it's going to happen this week, where I'll randomly say, all right, if the class can tell me what such and such means, use your phones, research it, what it means, and explain it to me, the entire class gets 100. Right? If you guys can work together, but I can't put that in Schoology, I can only put that in home access. So check home access for your grades, not Schoology. Like I'm doing right now, I do record at least one session per day, and there's 2 reasons. One is so that you can go back and review just in case, and that's another thing. My apologies in advance. You guys are going to be tested to high heaven. You have to do math 3 times this year. You have to do unit CUAs for the district, and then you have the STAR test. So to alleviate some of the pressure on you guys, when it comes to me, I try not to test too much. My quizzes are super short, and a lot of times I let you work together. But when it comes to like the midterm and final, I let you do projects. Now, I offer both the project and the test because some kids do prefer the test. And sometimes kids ask if they can do both, and I don't mind. But when it comes to the big projects, I never ask you to do something I won't do. So any assignment, any project I ever assign, I do it first so that you have an example. And then I provide step-by-step videos on how to complete it. So there should never be any reason you don't know what you're doing. So I posted in Schoology for that. Also, because sometimes if you're absent, it's easier for you to go back and look at them. And then there are going to be 6 days in September that I'm going to be out. My son is in the Navy and he's in San Diego, and I have not seen him since Christmas, so I'm going to go see him. So what I'll do is I'll actually record the lessons beforehand. So even if you have a sub, you just watch the video. I post them in Schoology, and you'll see them because I always use my Bitmoji. So whenever you see her, that's normally meaning a video or something important being said. And I post them in my YouTube page. Now my YouTube page, my class last year said they were going to make me YouTube famous. They did not, but I have some videos that are pretty well watched. But I will post all your school lessons here, and it'll be most recent. Okay, so there's never a reason why you shouldn't have seen the lesson. My kids tend to go back. I still have ones from last year because my students still look at them, and that they're there for you to review. The other reason I also put them in YouTube is Schoology. How many of you had Schoology crash last year? Off and on. Like all of you, right? So the reason I put it here is that way, even if Schoology crashes, you still have access to at least the lesson, right? And it makes it easier. Any questions so far? Okay. The goals you guys can read on your own, and here's the link to my YouTube. But when it just comes to goals, basically, my goal is twofold. One, I want you guys to become independent, critical thinkers that can empathize with people, which means like you can put yourself in other people's shoes and you can think about things critically, right? I basically want you to learn how to think, not to just repeat the things that I say. I'm all for you disagreeing with me. There will even be times where, like, let's say there's a lesson y'all hate, and I've told all my classes from past years, if there's a lesson that you all hate and you think that we don't need it, if you can prove to me I don't need to teach it to you, then I won't teach it. But you have to prove it to me. So that means you're gonna have to work together to do that. But I offer disagreement. I offer that expands my way of thinking, and I wanted to do the same for you guys. Second, I want you to leave this classroom knowing that English is more than grammar, right? Because when you think of English, that's what you think about, right? Is grammar. In reality, English is a way for you to experience the world in different ways. So my specialization is in ancient Chinese poetry. And when I say ancient, I mean like 4th century BC ancient. And there are poems from 4th century BC written by women complaining about how their husbands don't do anything and they flirt with all the girls and all this stuff. Well, that's something that still happens today, right? All right. There's also literature from Victorian England where they're like, "Ah, my parents just don't understand me. They're so traditional. Ugh, I wish they would just leave me alone." Is that not something that people of today can relate to? So English transcends time and place. You can find these universal truths, and that's what I want you to leave here. My third goal really is to have me be one of your favorite teachers so that when you guys make a lot of money, you're gonna be like, we're gonna take care of Miss Garcia. So far I normally rank on my former students first or second place. I have yet to top Mr. Gillum, but I will one day. So that's basically that. Any questions about any of that? Finally, on this one, I did provide the district calendar link. I didn't provide the actual calendar because the calendar changed like 8 times last year. And it's just, it's easier to give you the link. All right, so all that said and done, in today's folder, I had the objectives. This is the refresher I was talking about. I'm not gonna go over it because most of you guys know, but basically this is, when I say I give you examples, this is what I do. I always give you visuals and explanations. So you can go through there and look through that if you're not sure about it. The one that I really want you to pay attention to is over here when it has due dates, okay? Any questions on that? We should all be experts at Schoology by now.
Yes, I know.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here is where you get a pretty easy 100. So ask Miss Garcia. On your tables are index cards. On the index cards, I want you to put your name as it appears on your ID, and then the name you prefer, okay? Now, just an FYI, I tend to use last names. It's just easier for me. I'm a military brat. Even my best friends are known as Pena and Johnson, right? And Espada. But I will try to use the name that you prefer. Then you can ask any question you want me to answer. And if it's okay for me to share out the answer and question, put a dark spot. And then I want to know, because we are going to be talking about social issues and social reform, I want to know which ones are important to you. So for example, equal education is important to me. You guys should receive the same quality education as the richest person in the United States. There's no reason that not every student gets that education. Just like there's no reason it should have taken me so long to get my degree because it was too expensive. So any social issue, I may not be able to discuss it next time when we go into that unit, but at least I know which way to head. And I will do that often. I often survey you guys to see what's working and what's not working. I'll ask you, hey, what's working when I taught this lesson? What didn't work? Yes.
Say, how is your favorite? Someone like a cast.
No, this is an example. You can ask me anything. You don't have to answer them. You're gonna ask me a question you want me to answer. Okay. So, oh, and it was who? See, and so I do make mistakes, guys. I'm human. Oh, that was the other thing I totally forgot. When it comes to communication, my promise to you is that I will always reply within 24 hours. I have my phone with me all the time for several reasons. One, my son is in the Navy and he can't call me as often as I'd like. So whenever he does call, I'm not gonna lie, I answer it. I also have a very needy, dramatic 9-year-old who automatically goes to worst case scenario when I don't answer my phone. I also come from a very big Mexican family that often calls me when there's an emergency, okay? So I'm also a night owl. So let's say you message me at 2 a.m. in the morning, which I ask you not to, but if you do, because sometimes when it's on your mind, that's on your mind. Do not be surprised if you get an automatic reply back from me because I'm still awake. It may be something as simple as, hey, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow, but I try very hard. If I do not get back to you or your parent within 24 hours, just say, hey, Ms. Garcia, did you get my message? Because sometimes I get 1,000 emails and I miss it. I'm human. I also make grammar mistakes, right? Even though I have a degree in English, we're human. Also, never ask me to spell onomatopoeia or Egypt. I can't do it. So, and whenever you're done with your card, just hold it up or pass it to the front and I will check them out. And as long as I have a card from you with this information, you get 100. How simple was that? Pretty simple, yeah? Pretty easy? Yeah? Okay. Oh, that's the thing too. So even though I allow late work, if I was you, I would try very hard to get it in on time because there are times, even though I read everything you guys write, and believe me, I read everything. There will be times where I feel super generous and say, everybody that turned it in on time gets 100. You know, or gets an A automatically because they turned it in. I'll still give you feedback on it, you know, because it might have been 70 work, but sometimes I feel generous like that. So my favorite type of music, I actually don't have a favorite type of music, but I will let you know that gangster rap from my high school years is very near and dear to my heart. Tupac is my man, and I will argue to the death that he's better than Biggie, even though Coach Johnson disagrees, but Coach Johnson is wrong. I also like country, rock, alternative, Tejano, mariachi. I even listen to K-pop. So I used to be the sponsor for the K-pop club. So any other cards? Oh, what's my favorite anime? Okay. So I'm gonna be very honest. My two favorite anime, people are like, ugh, everybody likes those. But Bleach and Naruto. Let me explain them. I have liked Bleach and Naruto since I used to have to watch it on the computer where it would go and load like very slowly. I have watched it since then. So the reason I like both Naruto and Bleach is because their heroes are flawed characters. Do you know what that means? Do you know what flawed characters means? They have flaws. They're not always perfect. Miss Garcia can't stand perfect characters. Can't stand it. I'm also more of a villain girl, just so you know. But I like them because they start at the bottom and they come up. And then they're even when they're heroic, they still make mistakes. Let's see. Okay, do I watch sports? I will watch UT when they're winning. Okay. So I love baseball because where I'm from, baseball is king, and I do go to the games. And I pretty much will watch any sport any of you guys are in. So if I find out you're in a sport or an activity, I try to go and I take pictures of you and I put it on my wall. Right. So I do that. My boys are sailors. They were competitive sailors, so I watch that as well. Blackpink is my favorite K-pop. Yes, Blackpink. If you see me driving down the street and you hear it in my car dancing and singing, just accept it. That's what I do. Also, sometimes depending on my mood, I will have music up here in class. Just if you don't like it, I'm sorry. Also, I try not to teach bell to bell because I try to get you time to work on things. When you're working on your assignments, you are allowed to listen to music as long as you have headphones in, or work in a group as long as you're not too loud. I'm very laid back in that manner, just as long as you get the work done. Okay. My favorite fancy restaurant. Well, first of all, Miss Garcia is poor, so fancy is kind of. Fogo de Chao. Have you ever heard of that? It's a Brazilian restaurant in Austin, and they come with meat on swords and they cut it for you. It's very, very fancy. So I've only been there a couple of times. Okay, I do not speak Spanish. I am an ESL teacher. I do not speak Spanish, but I understand it. Okay, and there's a reason. So I'm from South Texas, which is Corpus Christi is where I'm from. My family has been here since Texas was Spain. But when my grandparents were little, the school systems used to physically punish them when they would speak Spanish, and they wouldn't advance them in grades. So my grandfather only had a 4th grade education, the other one had a 6th grade education. So what they decided is so that their children could get an education, they would only let them speak English. So my grandparents would speak Spanish to us, but we would only speak English back because they wanted us to have a good education. So coming from a 4th grade and a 6th grade, out of all the grandchildren, most of them went to college. So it kind of worked, but we did lose the language. So I do understand it, and plus I can understand a lot of my ESL babies. Unless it's, I'm not gonna lie, Puerto Rican Spanish does give me a hard time because they drop the endings and they talk really fast. Have I ever been out of country? Yes. Maybe one day I'll tell you how I got in trouble in Germany. And got sent back home when I was a kid, but I lived in Germany, so I've been out. And I've been to Mexico when it was safe to go to Mexico. Let's see. Again, I've answered the favorite anime. I have to say that I do, my favorite My Hero Academia character, Eraserhead, just because I like him. Let's see. My favorite anime characters, Kenpachi is my favorite from Bleach. I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but Kenpachi is one of my absolute faves. And you'll know who my favorite characters are if you look at my water bottle. My water bottle is more well known than Miss Garcia is. I go throughout the district and people will say, oh, I remember you had a training. And then they'll say, well, I don't really remember you. I remember your water bottle. And I'm like, well, that's nice that my water bottle has a bigger following than me. But if you ever see this around, because I've forgotten somewhere, this is Miss Garcia's. But that'll tell you all my favorite characters on there. Can you sleep if there's no work? If you finished everything, I don't care if you sleep. I like, one of my favorite things in life is naps. I can nap anywhere. You can ask my best friends. She'll be like, girl, how are you asleep? And I'm like, pretty simple. UT taught me. My favorite Naruto character, Kakashi is one of my favorites, and Shikamaru, because Shikamaru is like me. He likes naps. Everything's a drag, but he's super smart. Also with the sleeping, that brings up a good point. Remember I talked about communication. I once had a student that would sleep a lot in class, and he was sleeping in everybody's classes, and he was actually an ESL student. And it turned out after I talked to him that he would work all night, every night before he came to school because he was helping take care of his family. So we made arrangements. I was able to make arrangements with him that as long as he got his work, and it was before Schoology, as long as he got his work in by Friday, he could rest in my class. I get it. Some of you guys have more burdens than I'll ever know. But I can't help you unless I know. What movie could I watch every day without getting bored? Forgetting Sarah Marshall is one of my favorite movies. It's hilarious. And there's always like little subtle things in there. So I like Jason Segel. So my favorite animal, I like pandas. And I like red pandas just because my boys like red pandas. Like that's their favorite. And because they liked it so much that I got used to seeing it, and now they're kind of my favorite too. My favorite band, that's hard. Whew. Depends on the genre. So I love Linkin Park. Get used to it because there's going to be some song lyrics at some point that you'll have to like we'll talk about. So alternative, it would be Linkin Park. I'm a Boyz II Men fan from R&B, old school. I really don't have a favorite rap group, but like I said, Tupac is my man. In country, I don't have a favorite band, but Luke Combs is one of them that I really like. I love Black Panther too. He's amazing. I don't know how they're gonna fix that. Okay. I do like memes. There's actually going to be an assignment where you guys are tasked to go find me the funniest memes you can, just so that I can use them later and look cool. My favorite food. Okay, as you can tell, Ms. Garcia likes to eat. So when it comes to Mexican food, which is I'm Mexican, chirrianos are my favorite, but only from my mom because she makes them different. I used to love pizza. But lately I've been kind of picky with that. But you can't go wrong with some good Whataburger hamburgers and French fries. And when I used to live out of state, that's all I could think about was Whataburger hamburgers. When I watch anime, I'm not gonna lie, I do subtitles because I'm that kind of nerd. But if I'm trying to watch, so here's my problem when I watch anime. I am not one of those that can watch one episode and then go on with my life. I literally watch the entire series, like I'll stay up. So when I'm trying to do that, sometimes I'll use dub if I have to do something else, but it's just not the same to me if it's dubbed. Fancy restaurants, I speak Spanish. Out of the country. Okay, so here's one thing. I don't know about that, but let's talk about zombies just so that we can clear the air. I will always have your back. I will protect you pretty much against anything. But if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'm out. Love y'all, but y'all can fend for yourselves. Somebody has to survive and tell the story later in life. And I mean, I have a degree in English and I'm a better storyteller at this point, so I will survive. So you're on your own, but don't feel bad because I've also told my boys that they are also on their own because Tristan will definitely get me killed. Huh? Huh? No, I had it. That's what I was I'm gonna look at it. But zombies are my biggest irrational fear. Do you know what an irrational fear is? There are fears that don't make sense. So Miss Garcia does not have luck. We're just gonna let you know this right now. I have no luck. So I'm convinced that I will probably one day come across a zombie because that's just my luck in life. And since I don't run, I need them to be like the slow zombies, not the fast running zombies, because then I'm dead.
Like the Walking Dead zombies?
Yeah, yeah. And then have you ever seen, was it 28 Days Later where they run like full sprint?
Oh.
I'm out like in the first 2 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm not past like tripping people so that I could like get on, get away. I will do that. But I think that's about it. So this is pretty much a free 100. So make sure you have it turned into me before. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yes. The bell schedule? No, but what I can do is I will post a link to the bell schedule. Okay. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, because our power hour is a little different nowadays. So yeah. Also, guys, I try really hard to find things that I think will interest you. If I'm bored, I'm sure you'll be bored, but there will be certain things that I have to teach, like grammar. I'm also, this is the year you will take your STAR English 2. We will go over that, and I promise to prepare you as best as I can for it. Last year, my classes did really, really well, even the ones that were virtual. So just bear with me. If anything does change, I will always let you know. Let's say they close school down again. The reason I have everything on Schoology is so that it'll just be easy. And we'll just continue on. Sound fair? Okay. I also try to provide work days for you guys. And on those work days, I do ask that you finish my work first. But if I understand that if you have a history project that's due the next day and mine's not due till Friday, I would work on the history. Okay, as long as you guys are working and doing something, all right? And when my bosses come in, you look like you're thoroughly in love with me and my class and doing work. Sound good? I also use a lot of sarcasm. If there's ever a time where my sarcasm becomes too much for you or you take offense, 1, my apologies. 2, just let me know. Okay. One of my favorite phrases is lies and manipulations. I'm not necessarily saying that you're straight out lying to me, but it's just my kids from the last couple of years now. When I walk by, they'll say like lies and manipulations because that's my phrase. Okay. All right. So good to go. All right. So just make sure to get these in, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop.